Welcome back to Awesome Possum Hobbies and Games. And today we're opening up a Commander deck. This one is at the brand new expansion for Murders at Karlov Manor. This is Revenant Recon. Let's go. So here we go. We're going to open up one of the latest Commander decks for Murder at Karlov Manor. You know, each of these expansions are basically the standard sets come out with 4 Commander decks these days, which is great. Unfortunately, I do have a higher price tag. These are $50, $50 for what's a 100 card deck plus a sample collector booster pack. Sample. It just should say a specialty pack. It has nothing to do with collector booster pack. So let's go ahead and open these up, see what's inside. This one is supposed to be black and blue. Let's see what's inside though. Interesting little theme cutouts. Too bad this one's not a punch out. I love getting those little punch out for my my long boxes to be able to go through and sort. Has some kind of paper that I'm sure it talks about the community, and it talks about Mirko Obsessed Theorists. It talks about how the deck is played. It's interesting. Let's go ahead and open up the actual thing. Get my trusty little knife out here. Has popular formats of Magic card along with some tokens. These are Zombies, Copies, Salamander Warrior, City Blessing, and Vizier of Many Faces. Great little tokens. I always love seeing them provide the right ones. It has the very top one is Thick Stock. Hey Magic, Wizards, here's a rare, a full card that's not not Pringled. This one's also not, but give it a week. I'm sure it will change. Mirko Obsessive Theorist. 1 black, 1 blue, 1 colorless, legendary creature, vampire, detective, flying, vigilance. When you surveil, you have to put a +1/+1 counter on this card. At the beginning of your end step, you may return target creature card with power less than Mirko's from the graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. So it's all about let me go through and surveil and then put creatures in the graveyard and then bring them back. This card is incredible. Incredible for Commander. Can't wait to see a deck be played with it. The next one is Marvo Deep Operative. For 1 black, 1 blue, 3 colorless. It's a 1/8, and then excuse me. When this card attacks, clash with defending player. To clash, each clashing player reveals the top card of their library and then puts that card on top of the library, top or bottom of the library. A player wins if their card has a higher mana value. Whenever you win a clash, draw a card. Then you may cast a spell from your hand with mana value 8 or less without paying its mana cost. Wow! So if it attacks, it just has to attack. Doesn't have to hit an opponent. It doesn't need to do damage to anything. It just needs to attack, and then you get the clash. If you have the highest mana cost, good things are going to happen for you. It doesn't always going to happen. You have lands, you've got expensive cards in your deck, or you have cheap cards in your deck. Next one's Case of the Shifting Visage. 2 blue, 1 colorless. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get Surveil 1 to solve 3, or there are 15 or more cards in your graveyard. And then solved, when you cast a non-legendary creature spell, copy that spell. Bonkers! Bonkers. Copy catchers. We're going to just stop on the rares. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of go through here. There's a ton of Surveil cards. Oh, I'm excited about building the Surveil deck out of this one. A Steamboat. That doesn't feel very magic-y. Counterpoint. Ransom Notes. Dream Eater Mythic. That's a reprint. Mission Briefing. I believe that used to be a rare. Now it's been bumped down to common. It says rare on it there. Just they used the wrong color on there. Guess. Did I miss any other ones? Because I was just looking at the... Yeah, I did. Let's back that truck up. Trim meter. Well, I get to look through all those cards. Great. Amphib Mutineer. This is actually another reprint. 1 blue, 3 colorless creature, Salamander Pirate. When it enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-Salamander creature. That creature's controller puts a 4/3 blue Salamander Warrior creature token into play, and then you can encore it. Ransom Note. When Ransom Note enters the battlefield, you can Surveil 1, pay 2, sacrifice Ransom Note to choose 1, cloak the top card of your library, go target creature, or draw a card. Interesting. Counterpoint: 1 blue, 1 black, 3 colorless. Counter target spell. You may cast a creature, instant, or sorcery or planeswalker spell from your graveyard with mana value less than or equal to that spell's mana value without paying its mana cost. Awesome. Foreboding Steamboat. 2 black, 3 colorless. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent chooses 2 non-token, non-vehicle creatures they control. Exile them until Foreboding Steamboat leaves the battlefield. When it attacks, put a card exiled with it onto its owner's graveyard. If you do, you get to investigate. All kinds of goodies. Unsinkable Tail. 1 black, 2 colorless creature zombie detective. When this card enters the battlefield and at the beginning of your upkeep, you get Surveil 1. So good. This is a zombie and you get Surveil with it. It's going right in my zombie deck. Whenever 1 or more creature cards are put in a graveyard from your library, investigate. And then pay 2, sacrifice a clue, return Unsinkable Tail from your graveyard to your hand. So good. So good. I can't wait to put that. I need to get a few copies of that. It's amazing. Eye of Dusk Mantle. 2 black, 5 colorless, creature eye, flying lifelink. 3/8 flying lifelink. And it's a creature eye. You may play lands and cast spells from among cards in your graveyard. You surveilled this turn. If you cast a spell this way, you may pay life equal to its mana value rather than its mana cost. Wow. Charnel Serenade. 2 black, 4 colorless, sorcery, Surveil 3, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Exile this card with 3 time counters on it. And it has suspend 3. And then this 1 black, 2 colorless to suspend it rather than paying 6. And then it just happens over and over and over again. Sooner or later it can kill you, but that's pretty darn cool. Watcher of Hours. 1 black, 5 colorless. It's a 6/6 flying ward 3. Whenever you remove a time counter from Watcher of Hours while it's exiled, you can Surveil 1. And then it has to spend 6. So 6 turns it can be put away. Another rare new card for the set. Final Word Phantom. 1 blue, 2 colorless, flash, flying. During each opponent's end step, you may cast spells as though they had flash for a 1/4. Another rare from this set. 1 blue, 1 colorless, creature fairy. When you surveil, you may pay a blue and a colorless. If you do, create a token and a copy of this creature. It's so good. This is a reprint. Phyrexian Metamorph. 1 Phyrexian blue, which is either a blue or 2 life. 3 colorless. And then you can... it's a 0/0 when it comes... enters the battlefield as a copy of any artifact or creature on the battlefield, except it's an artifact in addition to those other types. Phoenix of the Second Sun, 2 blue, 6 colorless, 6/6 flying at the beginning of your post-combat main phase. There's an additional beginning phase after this phase. The beginning phase includes the untap, upkeep, and draw. That upkeep can be bad, but having another untap phase, that's always good. Vizier of Many Faces, 2 blue, 2 colorless. This is a reprint from another set. It's 0/0 when it enters the battlefield as a copy of a creature on the battlefield, except it's a Vizier of Many Faces was enabled. The token has no mana cost while it's white, and it's zombie and additional other things if it's embalmed. Black Sun Zenith, 2 black, X colorless. Put X -1/- counters on each creature. Shuffle this card back into its owner's library. So you're able to make everything smaller. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Dogged Detective. I like this card a lot. This came out in the last set. 1 black, 1 colorless. Actually, was it the last set or was it the set before? I believe it was... I don't remember. It kind of makes me feel like it's from the New Capenna, but you know, I don't know. It's another copy of it here, so it's probably going to be dirt cheap now. When it enters the battlefield, you can Surveil 2, and then an opponent draws their second card each turn. You may return Dogged Detective from your graveyard to your hand. Doom Whisper. This card's incredible. 2 black, 3 colorless. Creature Nightmare Demon. Pay 2 life. Surveil 2. 6/6. Grave Titan. Wow. Talk about some good hitters in this deck. 2 black, 4 colorless. Death Touch. 6/6 when it enters the battlefield or attacks. You get to create 2 black zombie tokens. Massacre Worm. Another great hit. Mythic, 3 black, 3 colorless. When it enters the battlefield, creatures your opponent's control gets -2/-2 until end of turn. So it gets to kill a bunch of small creatures. And then whenever a creature an opponent control dies, that player loses 2 life. Overseer of the Dam, 2 black, 5 colorless, flying, 5/5. This is a reprint from an old set. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target creature, and then whenever a non-token creature an opponent control dies, you get to create a 2/2 zombie. Phyrexian Arena. This one's actually going to be legal for standard, which is fantastic. It's a great rare, great card from a recent set. It was a reprint, anyways. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and you lose a life. Pylon, Convoke. You know, you pay a black 3 colorless Convoke, so you can tap creatures instead of lands if you don't have them. Destroy target creature or planeswalker, and then you can Surveil 2. Reanimate. Wow. I know the value of this card has dropped significantly in recent sets. It was a $20 card. Now it's about $6 to $10. It's a great time to pick these up. Go through and buy them on TCG Player or whatever your favorite online or at your local game store if they've got reasonable prices. Pick them up. Rise of the Dark Realms. Wow, another great reprint. 2 black, 7 colorless. Sorcery, put all creature cards from all graveyards on the battlefield under your control. So if you've been milling or surveilling, or if you'll be able to kill a bunch of your opponent's cards, this card has a ton of value if you can get to that 9 mana, as well as this card. Most recently, I believe it was $10, $12 card. So this is a great card to have in there. Another great hit. Toxic Deluge, 1 black, 2 colorless. Sorcery as an additional cost of this spell. Pay X life. All creatures get -X till end of turn. So you can pay 5 life. When you pay it, you give everything -5/-5. That usually kills lots of things. Twilight Prophet. This card hasn't seen a reprint. This is the first time it's been reprinted, and it's a mythic. It's a great card. 2 black, 2 colorless, flying ascent. If you control 10 or more permanents, you can get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have City's Blessing, reveal the top card of your library and put it in your hand. Each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is that card's mana value. So if you happen to get that, the Rise of the Dark Realm, you get your opponents lose 9 life, and you gain 9 life. Amazing. Baleful Strix, another great rare. 1 black, 1 blue. 1/1 flying Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card. So going on, the next card is Connive Concoct. First part of it is you can pay 4 mana to gain control of target creature with power 2 or less, or Concoct. 1 black, 1 blue, 3 colorless, Surveil 3, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Another great Surveil card. Lazav, the Multifarious. This card's great. If you haven't had a chance to play this one, I highly recommend it. 1 black, 1 blue for a 1/3 legendary creature shapeshifter. When this card enters the battlefield, you have to Surveil 1, and then you pay X. Lazav, the Multifarious, becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with mana value of X, except its name is Lazav. With the Multifarious, it's legendary. In addition, it has other types and has this ability. Master of Death. This card's great for Modern Horizons. Masters of Death is a 3/1 zombie for 1 black, 1 blue, 1 colorless. When it enters the battlefield, you get a Surveil 2. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, if Master of Death is in your graveyard, you may pay 1 life. If you do, return this card to your hand. Going on to lands. There's so many good lands for beginners. If you're a beginner player and you're looking to build an extra black-blue deck, this deck is chock full of great lands. This is choke Etchersary with land as it enters the battlefield. You may reveal island or swamp card from your hand. If you don't, choke Emissary enters the battlefield tapped. Darkwater Catacombs, pay 1 and taps, produce a black and a blue. Drowned Temple. This is another rare from an older set. It pays taps to produce a black, or you pay 3 colorless mana. Return Drowned Temple from your graveyard to your battlefield tapped. Fetid Pools, another great one from Amakat series. Land, island, swamp. So it taps to produce a blue or black, and then it enters the battlefield tap, and then it also has cycling for 2. Hostile Desert, not terribly great, but River of Tears, this one taps to produce a blue. If you play a land this turn, it'll produce a black instead. Sunken Hollow enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands, and it counts as an island and swamp. That's a great one. And then the rest of it, this is going to be commons and uncommons from our previous sets that's going to let you dig through your deck, surveil, put a bunch of stuff in your graveyard, draw some cards, and like this card's a great uncommon from an older set. Enhanced Surveillance, 1 blue, one colorless enchantment. You may look at additional 2 cards each time you surveil, exile, enhance surveillance, shuffle your graveyard into your library. Lots of cards which have surveil and draw. This deck is fantastic. It's a great deck for beginners, especially if you're looking to go through and build a this sort of black-blue animate surveil deck, or if you're looking to build a black-blue surveil deck. This is a great starting point. Animate Dead, great card from an older set. 1 black, one colorless enchant aura as an uncommon. It's fantastic. Enchant creature, card in a graveyard. When it enters the battlefield, it loses enchant creature card. So what it does is it pretty much brings back any creature card to the graveyard. If it dies, it goes to the graveyard. And enchant creature is a little bit smaller. -1/-0. Necromancy, 1 black, 2 colorless. You may cast Necromancy as though it had a flash. If you cast it at any time as a sorcery couldn't have been cast, the controller of the permanent sacrifices it at the beginning of the next cleanup step, and then when it enters the battlefield, if it's on the battlefield, it becomes an aura. Enchant creature, put on the battlefield. With Necromancy, put target creature card from graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and attach Necromancy to it. When Necromancy enters leaves the battlefield, that creature controller sacrifices it. And then it has some removal cards, quite a few great terror-like removal cards. Surveil, Sir Conrad, which if you surveil while he's in play, you're going to cause your opponent to take some damage. More great cards. More cards that surveil, things that take things. This is a great starting point. Arcane Signet, which is a great card for any basic. Soul Ring, Talisman Dominance, Ash Barrens, Majiku Bog, Command Tower, and the rest of it's going to be some common lands, and mostly it's going to be going through it. It's going to be lots of islands and swamps. So it has a great variety of cards. Highly recommend it. So if you guys are at your local game store this weekend, remember Revenant Recon, great deck. Pick it up at your local game store. And let's go ahead and see what else was in there. It comes with a little cardboard deck box, which is kind of garbage. You can go through and buy a cheap deck box somewhere else. This thing is amazing. Nice little life spinning thing that goes all the way up to 40. And then the other part is one of these collector booster sample pack. Let's see what's inside. Only a few cards. It's not a bad pack. Got an alternate artwork, alternate frame, and this one is a full border Arduous Charm, which is a great card. In fact, it's not a foil. Let's look at this foil is not terribly bad when it comes to the curl, But overall, the curl in the set is not as bad as I've seen in previous sets. So that's something to be aware of for Murder at Karlov Manor. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about this deck or anything else, please leave in the comments below. And until next time, we have a fantastic weekend and have a great day and keep them rolling.
And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please take the time to like the video and subscribe if you'd like to stay updated. Have a great day and keep them rolling.